What if true power isn't about how much you earn or how many milestones you hit, but about meeting the real you? Our guest built multi-million dollar businesses generating over 5 million in revenue, only to discover that constant chasing left her anxious, unfulfilled, and disconnected. A plane crash, a devastating loss, and years of quiet desperation cracked her open, and in the stillness, she met her limitless self. Now she helps entrepreneurs and leaders step into their own unshakable truth, becoming what she calls peaceful warrior Zen on the inside and unstoppable on the outside. Hi, and welcome to the You World Order Showcase podcast, where we feature life, health, transformational coaches, and spiritual entrepreneurs stepping up to be the change they seek in the world. I'm your host, Jill Hart, the coach's alchemist, on a mission to help coaches and entrepreneurs amplify their voice, monetize their mission, and get visible, leveraging podcasts and Substack. Today, we are blessed with getting to chat with Rashi Nayar. Rashi is a self-expansion coach who helps powerful leaders and entrepreneurs realize who they truly are so they can remain calm, centered, and unshakable, even in high-pressure situations. After scaling businesses to multi-millions, she realized success without self-realization is empty. Her journey through loss, silence, and awakening led her discover her real self, and now she guides others to the same. Through her work, Rashi is creating a world of peaceful warriors, leaders who raise the frequency of the planet by being deeply anchored in truth, limitless power, and presence. Welcome to Rashi. It's great to have you here.
Oh, it's great to be here, Jill. Thank you for having me here.
So let's ask you the big question. What's the most significant thing, in your opinion, as individuals we can do to make an impact on how the world is going?
Oh, the most significant thing that we can do as individuals is to lead every single moment of our life from truth and from love. Because love is not just an emotion we experience, it's actually who we are. It's who we are. But the problem is that we are just leading from autopilot. We're leading from our past conditioning. We're not leading from love. And that is the most significant impact we can make on our planet.
I could not agree more. It's you can do all the things, which I think is probably the root of your story, but
Mm.
until you really experience love and loving yourself in a way that is more than just we talk about loving ourselves is so important, but really in a practical manner, it's accepting yourself as who you are, and that you're not broken. We
Mm.
live in a world where so many people are wandering around believing that they're broken when they're really not. It's just who they
Yeah.
are, and it's okay.
Yes. Oh, yes, you've nailed it on the head. That's how I experienced myself. Like even though I had successfully, made the millions, right? The seven-figure mark, I just had this quiet desperation and anxiety that I didn't have enough. And even though I'd made the money, right? Like I felt like I didn't have enough. It's because I believed that I wasn't enough. And as a high achiever, and especially if we identify as being high achievers, our achievements tell us how much enough we are or how enough we are. And I just thought that the more I get in the outer world, the more enough I'm going to feel. But I just felt disconnected from who I actually am. So, yes, you're right. I thought I was broken until I found who I truly am. And I realized how infinite, vast, more than enough who we actually are, with our true self is. And what I realized was that we are love. We are the creator. We are source and the creation itself. We are the creator and the creation itself. And that was like a cosmic joke. It's like I woke up and I was laughing, but at the same time, I was in awe of the mystery that we are. We just don't realize how powerful we are, because when we do, we stop wobbling. We stop wobbling in our power. The dip doesn't happen because even though we know who we are, some days we don't know who we are. Well, like, most days we forget who we are. And so we go to other people, healers, we're looking for healing, we're looking to fix ourselves, right? But the answer is always within us. If we just flip the mirror and if we start looking inwards and if we start sitting with ourselves enough, we will come to this place. But we're escaping. We're not taking the time to sit with ourselves because we're too busy to do that. And I'm talking from my own self. I was too busy to just sit in meditation or sit with myself for a few minutes. I just thought it's a waste of time, of my productivity, or it's not being efficient, But actually, it was the most
Yeah.
efficient thing I did. Hmm.
Slowing down to speed up.
Oh
I,
yes, you nailed it. That's pretty much what it is. It's slowing down to the point that you can hear the whisper of your soul. You can hear the stillness is power, that silence is power. And when you realize that you are love and you are the creator. And whatever you've created in your outer life, it's because you are the creator. And so that, that lack that we get into, the desperation, the lack, when we're not making the money or when we don't have clients, we enter this place of lack and desperation. That goes away from our life. We stop feeling like we're not good enough or we don't have enough because we are infinite. So what is what do we have to fear? What do we have to? We don't
I think
experience that, right?
sometimes
Mm,
we get into those situations where it's like, oh my God, in this moment, nothing is going right. And we, in our minds, it's like, okay, this is the existence we're going to exist in
mm,
forever. It's like, but
mm,
that's not true. It's a lie. The moment that you're existing in right now will be
mm,
that ever present now is going to change. It's always changing, though it is
mm-hmm.
the it's the only moment that exists.
Yeah.
But that only moment is never this moment. It's always changing. And
Mm-hmm.
you can talk about jumping timelines, which
Yeah.
I totally believe it's possible to jump timelines.
Mm,
There's a million opportunities, there's a million possibilities for how this ever-present moment is going to present at that
mm,
moment. Like we blink in and out of existence, like something like 22 trillion times a second. So we're not actually even moving. We're like a movie picture where there's just like still frames. It's a movie picture is not a moving thing. It's still frames just showing so quickly that your eyes are tricked into thinking that it's continuous motion. Our lives are like that. And every one of those 22 trillion re combinations of who we are can be in a different realm and can have different things happening around us. So
mm.
in this moment, if you're not happy, make up a better story, and the next moment can be different.
Oh, wow. It seems like, Jill, you have touched this place within you that is actually, you said something so powerful. The things that we see in front of our perceptions, we are actually in the background. We are the screen. We are the screen, but we identify with being the movie.
Yes.
And it's interesting because when we actually go to the movies, we get so caught up in the movie that we think that we're participating fully, and we're crying, we're laughing, it's a whole entertainment show, but we forget that it's a blank screen and that we are the witness of the movie. We're not the movie itself, or we're not the
Yes.
actors, the roles that we are playing, we're not the masks. So
It doesn't even exist. It's created for us.
it is so funny you said that. And that was my realization when I woke up. I laughed because right now it might seem like we're having this conversation. It's beautiful. Well, the thing is, it's so temporary, it's so fleeting. But who you are exists, and you've always existed. And I mean, I would really invite the listeners to really pay attention right now is that who are you that has always existed? Who is this? Who am I that has always existed, regardless of my body has changed since I was a baby, right? Maybe my language has changed. It has definitely changed since I was a baby. Everything about me has changed. My appearance, my hair are more gray now. The thing is, but who I am in the background, the witness, the consciousness or the awareness has not changed. And that's who we are. So we have to first create a separation and realize who we are. But then when we come back, we don't have a problem with the movie. But now we're not identified with the movie. Before it was all a show. We're like laughing and crying and like, oh, that person said something to me and I believe it. And my business is down, so I believe it, and we're not making money, I will believe it. And when we get caught up because we're in the autopilot because we don't know who we are. And like you said, we're not the movie, we're the screen. And you said it's not even real, which is true. But we still get caught up. But when we realize who we are, we stop getting caught up. We stand in our power. We stand as the infinite creator that we are, the powerful love, the loving awareness that we are. Oh, and that is beyond death. Death cannot touch who we are. The body dies, and the body will die for sure, but who we are remains. It has always remained before birth and after death. It's ever present. And that's when we get to experience the oneness in all things, in all beings. The oneness, the love that we are, the truth. And the choice then is to whether we lead our lives from truth or we lead our lives from illusion. And I was leading my life from illusion. All these 39, 38 years of my life, I was lost, completely disconnected. But I knew inside that something is not right, like something is missing. And that's when I'm so grateful that I got this opportunity to awaken to who I am. And that is the movement that I've created over here. It's called freedom. This is true freedom. And I want as many people to be part of this and awaken so that we can together raise the collective consciousness of our planet and awaken as many individuals as possible. Because this is the real work. And I believe this is the most aligned work that we can do, is to wake up to who we are and to help others awaken to who they are.
Because that's the only way that we're all going to be able to have a shared experience that's beautiful for everyone. The
Yes.
the pressure on the outside for us to conform to standards around ideas basically meant to enslave us.
Mm.
Um, because if they can capture your mind and your thoughts about who you fundamentally believe you are, that you're broken, that you need to be fixed, they can
Mhm.
sell stuff to you.
Yeah.
And uh, to me, that's unfortunate because we
Mm.
live in a world where we just are being preyed on right and left. They're not, they're not interested. And by they, I mean, there's a handful of people who exist in the world, and their worldview is that everyone else is here to serve them. That's
Mhm.
just the reality that they're trying to create and put on other people. And unless you know who you are
Mm.
and embrace who you are, you're going to be susceptible to being pulled into their paradigm and their reality. And you're one of those um NPCs, whatever those characters are in the video games that they don't really have any speaking roles and they get killed off.
Mm.
You're the one in the red suit in Star Trek, in the old Star Trek. If you were wearing a red suit, you're probably gonna die.
Right, right. No, you said it well. Skeptical is the word, or suspect. That's the word that I always kind of fumble on. But you're right, because when we forget who we are and we're just living on autopilot, then yes, people can sell to us their own paradigm.
Mhm.
And that's the truth. You're right. And it's only the moment we really suffer, like the longing gets intense. inside it's like we're longing to merge with God, with the Creator. We're longing to merge with the infinite. And suffering, as my guru Neem Karoli Baba, who was the inspiration behind Steve Jobs and Apple and Ram Dass and Larry Brilliant, he used to say that suffering brings us closer to God,
Mhm.
because it's in the moment of suffering that we remember God, that we long to merge with God, that we long to merge with love. And so suffering around us used to say, it's interesting that Richard Alpert, the Harvard professor who later turned into Ram Dass, he used to say that the worst thing we can do in the world is to take away someone's suffering.
Mhm.
And the thing is, when we suffer, the fire is so hot that now our soul somehow slips into that awakening. That's what happened with me. And I believe that, Jill, you have also touched this place because you're able to communicate this truth outwards.
It's it, we're here for experience.
Yes.
Is we are I truly believe we are all God, and
Mm,
the consciousness, by God I mean the greater consciousness that is all of us. We are all one, and we are all individuals, and we are here for the experiences. And experiences come in all flavors. I'm not one to say good and bad or
mm,
evil and not evil. It's just an experience. How we label it is how we go through it.
mhm,
But it's up to us to label it, and we can label it whatever we want.
mhm,
We don't have to just say, well, that was a terrible, horrible thing. We can say, well, that was an experience, and this is what I got out of it. And
Yeah.
this is how it impacted me. And this is how it impacted the others that were part of that experience. Maybe I don't want to have that exact experience again. Maybe the next time I have an experience that's in a similar situation, I will see if I can have it differently.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it good or
Yes.
bad. It's just an experience.
Yes, because we are the creators. Yes. What you said, I believe that we are God. Actually, we are. We are all creators, and this is our own creation. And the thing is, we are the creator and the creation itself. And the world that apparently appears to be appearing outside of us is actually happening within us, within the awareness that we are. We're not the body. The body is also appearing within us, the changing within us. Everything is happening within us. Like Jill is happening within me, and I'm happening within you. So you're mine and I'm yours. And that is the oneness, the love that we get to experience when we stand as who we are. We are loving awareness. And you said it beautifully, is that the experience, and actually, if you look at the experience and the experiencer, which means the observer and the observed, there is no boundary between it. There is no line. Where do we draw the line? There is no separation. But we think there's a separation because the body, we believe we're a body, we're identity. I'm a mom, I'm an entrepreneur. These are all of the identities we get identified with. But if we stand as loving awareness, as the awareness itself, then there is no separation. Then I can see that you and I were one. We might look different because you have a different body and I do different. But if you're not identified with the body, then we can see how within the container, the content is there. And that is the magic. So how can we hate? How can we hate someone that's actually part of us? And this is how we raise the consciousness of the planet, how we start living from love, not from hate. And then wars disappear. And then somehow we inspire our leaders, right? The leaders that rule the world, right? Somehow they get infected with this love. And they realize that, oh, they're not separate. And there's no one serving, we're not serving them or vice versa. we are one, and we're just doing what we're, in fact, we're not even doing, we're being done. And if we really look at it, we're not the doer. The doing is happening through us, through the body. We notice the actions, the movement of the hands, it's happening within us. It is happening within us. And we think that we're the doer because the thought comes, oh, I'm doing. But if we pay close attention, we're being done. We're the vessel or the channel for divine to flow through us. And that's how we see that we are the creator. It's pretty magical.
It is really magical, and on a metaphysical level, nothing actually exists. I- And I've taken to just imagining that leaders don't exist and that the things that bother me in the world don't exist in the way that I would have to have an emotional response to it.
Yeah.
Like, I know that horrible things do happen, and I do
Hmm.
label them horrible because it's a part of me that's being affected in that someone else is suffering.
Yeah.
But in that suffering, it's that's in the experience that they're here to have also.
Hmm.
Somebody agreed to come and be that adversary for the person. I had Allie Davison said something to me that is so profound. She's like, the wind doesn't only we only notice the wind when it brushes against our skin. You have to have
Mm.
friction in order for you to be aware of some things existing. Like, we wouldn't even be aware of our bodies existing if we didn't have the friction of the other molecules that form themselves into different arrangements
Mm.
to experience against it, like walls or desks or nature or whatever. I mean, if you touch a tree, you feel the tree, but you're mostly feeling your body. You're getting
Yeah.
feedback to
Great.
yourself. That tree may not actually even exist. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yes, you're right. It's a sensation. It's a sensation. Yes, yes, 100%. And, in suffering, actually, you touched something really beautiful that the reason that we experience someone else's suffering is because we are love. And only love can experience suffering. In that way, that suffering is grace. Suffering is grace because it brings us back to what is our essence, our true nature, and that is love. And so, yes, there is suffering in the world. It feels like when someone dies, someone passes away, leaves their body, there's suffering, there's grief, and grief cracks open our heart. The heart cracks open in grief. And then we see that actually the person that was gone was love too. We feel the longing, we feel the love. And Rumi used to talk about it. Rumi, the great mystic, he used to talk about this a lot. That there's a poem he has talked about, and I think it's called, I forgot what it's called, but something like on those lines when, the guest, it's called The Guest. Yes, I remember, The Guest. It's that when emotions come, grief comes, even depression comes, see them as guests visiting you,
Yeah.
visiting the house, the empty house that you are. You are not the emotions that visit you. You're not the depression, the grief, but let them come, let them roar, and you're going to feel it, the intensity of that. We're going to feel the intensity of that because that's how the creator wants to experience itself in all emotions, not just happiness, but also grief, also sadness. Creator wants to experience everything through us, but only when we can identify as being the guest house, not the guest. We are the guest house in which all of these emotions, the thoughts, the depression, the grief, everything appears and then disappears. Because if we were the emotion itself, then we would have remained that emotion for the rest of our life, but we don't. And like you said in the beginning of the podcast, you said change is the only constant. Everything is changing. But we are not the change. We are the one in the background, the screen, the sky, and the emotions are like clouds. The thoughts are like clouds. Even the perceptions or the sensations are like clouds. But we are the sky in the background, which is able to see the clouds, even experience the thunder, the roaring, the thunderstorm, and even for days and months, the rain is going, but we are able to see. But when we can abide as the sky, that's where the magic is. Then we feel still. We're able to feel it, that stillness.
In your analogy of the sky and the clouds, I love this because the sky does not have to comment and have an
Yeah.
opinion on every cloud that comes by. Sometimes it might notice shapes. I don't know.
Mm.
Maybe it does. It can just notice. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to get all wrapped up in the one cloud because
That's
there's more
it.
clouds coming by. And they're like thoughts for us.
Yes,
We
yes,
have the choice when we have thoughts, and we all have thoughts all day long, things come to our mind. If we can slow down, and this goes back to slowing down so you can speed up. If you
yeah.
can slow down and think, make a decision about what
Mm.
you're going to think or not think about the thoughts that hit your brain
Mm.
every
Every
five
few
seconds or
seconds.
whatever the time frame is. I think we get into trouble when we start getting caught in these thoughts that we're
Yes,
having that aren't true. They're
yes,
just thoughts.
yes.
Like, maybe I like something or I don't like something or
Mm.
somebody, annoys me. I can dwell on that and then I
Mm.
can get a lot more because
Mhm.
your brain is going to want to like, let's dive in and let's really like tear this all apart. And
Yes.
and then you're missing out on all the other thoughts that could be coming in that would serve you much better rather than
Hmm.
saying, that was an interesting thought. I don't have to act on that thought. I can just let that one go by. There
Yeah.
was an app, I forget the name of it, that talked about when I was first learning to meditate, the feather that moves the cloud or the thought away. And it's
Mm.
just like, no, I don't have to think or have an opinion about every thought that passes through my mind.
Yes, exactly. We get identified and we get caught because our attention goes to that, and
Mhm.
then our attention is lost. And then we chase one thought, then the other, and the thought that creates that emotion. And then we get caught up in the emotion, and that's who we become, and that becomes our reality. But what we can do is instead is a practice where when the thought appears, and it really needs that high level of self-awareness, like when the
Yeah.
thought appears, it's like we catch it before it becomes another, and becomes a ripple effect of a storm. We
Mhm.
catch it, and then we stay as the witness.
Mhm.
Our attention is now not going outwards, but it's staying within. And the culture that I come from an Indian background. We call it the Kundalini awakening happens. The Kundalini is actually dormant spirituality, like the energy that's dormant within us. The awakening happens when the energy, the attention is not going outwards, but it's actually being contained inwards. So our attention, rather than going to the thought, the emotion, comes back to ourself and stays there. And the only way to make it stay there is when we can say to ourselves, I am. Because in these two words, we return back to who we are. Not I am Rashi or I am Jill, because then that's an identity, but I am. And that's the only common two words that we all have. I am. I am. And when we start recognizing and identifying with I am, something magical happens. Is that the energy is starting to contain inwards. And then the awakening happens. And then something within you wakes up. The creator wakes up. Now your power is not wobbling. Now you're not being identified with. There are times that the old patterns and the old programming will come and really try to pull you back. But what's happening if you look at it scientifically, the brain that had an old neural pathway before,
Mhm.
the old programming, the old conditioning, the more you start staying as I am, or I am love, or I am awareness, now there's a new neural pathway being formed in the brain. Now, after a few days of just being as I am, the old patterns start to leave, the habits start to fall away, and the old thoughts, they don't bother us anymore. So they come and we're able to witness them, and then they just leave on their own. And we can stay as the sky, as I amness. And we realize that sometimes, we think that we're the wave in the ocean. We think we're a separate identity, a wave, but we have always been the ocean. We have always been the ocean. We are the ocean because the wave is, what is it made up of? It's made up of the ocean. And we think we're the wave. And that's where it's somehow we forget who we are. And that's everyone has to go through that. I suppose the creator forgets that she's the creator. And then she's now returning back to, oh my God, help me. Like, oh, where am I? Who am I? What's my purpose? And then returning back to the true essence of who we are.
I wonder if the creator doesn't experience all of the experiences we all have, all living things, and not just like humans, but animals and trees and anything that is alive. Everything is having an experience
Yeah.
at the same time,
Yes.
every every moment.
Mhm.
And it's just like we experience stuff just as an individual human, but can
Right.
you just imagine that, the magnitude of that, and how incredible that experience must be? It's just
Oh, oh yes, you're right.
like
You know, the guru, like I'm gonna show his photo. He's always in front of me, right? The
mhm,
guru, or we call it guru, meaning light. It's not
mhm,
specifically the guru or the master. No, it's not that. Guru meaning light, the light that lives within us, the light that guides us home. The
mhm,
guru. And when Neem Karoli Baba, he was in his body in back in the 60s and 70s, he could manifest himself in multiple places at the same time. And that is what was incredible, that he was able to, people were dying and he was able to revive them back from death. He was able to create money from fire. He was able to be in multiple places at the same time. And people would report, no, Baba is here with us. No, but Baba is here with us. And it was really interesting what was happening over there, the miracles that were unfolding. But if you ask him that, how are you creating all of these miracles? And he would say, I don't do anything. God does everything. And I only know one thing, and that is that we are one and that we are love. And that was the only teaching that he had, really. And we somehow take love for granted. We take love for granted that, oh, we are loving people. I'm a loving person. But are we really leading from love every single moment? Because that's what he was doing. He was leading every single moment. There's a book written, there's, I don't know, hundreds of books now written on him after Steve Jobs, visited the temple and in Kenchi, and then Apple was formed, Apple was born, and then Mark
mhm,
Zuckerberg went there, and then Facebook was born. So all of these people went to the temple, and something magnificent happened. They touched that place of love, that they touched that place, and then they created these amazing things. So we take love for granted because we are after our mind wants to see miracles, right? Like big things, money. We're enchanted by money. But actually, love is the language. And when we return to love, when we return to who we are, then things happen in the outside world almost effortlessly. Then we are in the field, or they call it the flow state, where Baba was in. And many mystics have experienced that. Jesus himself was, I'm the son of God. What does that mean? That I am love itself. And Baba used to say that Jesus never died. He lost himself in love. He lost himself in love. And Baba would have tears coming off, he would just cry, like tears are just running, and he's like completely merged with that
mhm.
love that Jesus experienced, and that's who we are. That's who we are. But if we can lead every single moment from that space, then every moment becomes special. We're no longer living on autopilot. We're conscious creators. We're conscious. We're creating our reality consciously, not being just bumped from one moment to the other, boom, 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 going with the motions. No, it's very much conscious.
Of
So
that.
yeah,
So you are actually a coach and
yeah,
you do help people reach this space.
yes.
And do you do this as groups? Do you do this one-on-one? How does all that look for people?
You know, it's interesting that you asked that question. So up till now, before, my aunt passed away and before I had this awakening experience, I was a business coach.
Mhm.
I was a business and marketing coach and I was helping people get clients, right? Leads and all of that. And it was interesting. But ever since I pivoted and started helping people realize who they are, get that awakening themselves, I'm working with clients one-on-one. And it's interesting that the clients that I'm attracting, they've also made the money. They are multimillionaires and, living off the grid. They have made it, apparently, in the eyes, but inside they didn't feel free.
Mhm.
They got the external freedom that they thought that money was going to give, retirement life, but they got bored of it. And so right now I am working with clients one-on-one right now. And I want to, before I work in open up a group coaching program, which is on the cards, I really want to dial in my method or methodology. Right now, the framework that I have is a 3-step framework. It's called Awaken, Anchor, and Amplify. So the way it works is first month one, it's a 90-day program that I, take my clients from.
Mhm.
Awaken is where I really awaken them to who they are so that they can really see themselves face to face, almost naked, in who they are, like the sky. And now month two is all about anchoring in that knowing and leading our life from that knowing rather than on autopilot. And month three, you have to teach this. Because the thing is, the more we teach, the more we learn, and the more we embody those teachings, we live from that place. So,
Mhm.
this movement that I've created, a freedom movement, the movement of freedom, I really encourage my clients to teach this, to share this awakening with other people, get loud about your message, and just really start to get more and more people, invite them into your space and teach these timeless principles of love and freedom and enlightenment to the rest of the world. Because I cannot do this alone, We have to do this as a movement. We have to do this as a collective. Only then more and more people can awaken. Yeah.
It's really about connections
Yes.
and authentic connections, not like the pretend connections that happen in a lot of spaces,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
allowing yourself to be authentically you and
Yeah.
vulnerable and
Yeah.
allowing others to connect with you on that level. And it's really scary. It can be
Mm.
really scary if you don't know who you are.
Yes.
And if you're not really firm in your foundation of who you are, because people will come to you. And if you, it's easy to get pushed
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you're not for everyone. You're
Yes.
for specific people. And those that are not for you or you're not for, they can
Yeah.
trigger you just as easily
Mm.
as you trigger them.
You're so right. You're so right. When you know who you are, your conviction is firm. You're convinced, and that conviction itself, like the clients that I work with right now, the client that I onboarded last week, he is a multimillionaire. Like really, he's made his fortune before Google came. Guys in his 60s, and he said, like, I know that I am love. I've experienced those moments, but I don't have that conviction that I can tell someone that, hey, love is who you are. You know, that the kind of conviction that Jesus had, he was on mission. That guy was on his mission. And that the mission comes from that conviction of we stand firm in knowing who we are, then really no one can trigger us because when you know who you are, how can you get triggered? And even when people say what they want to say, you still love them because you are
And
love, because you
and
are,
they are part of you. It's just
they're
like,
part of you.
you can yell at your hand all you want. It's not going to make it not your hand still.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And our hand can get injured and it can really hurt.
Mhm.
But doesn't mean that we will just start cursing it, right? Like that's just, again, living on autopilot. So that's how we are all one. We are together, right? And it's all really a matter of awakening and then sharing this truth with more and more people. Hey, here's the thing. Here's what I know. I am love, and let's do this. Like, let's go. And this is when we can create a movement. It's not a business. Like the thing that I'm doing now, before it was all about business. I was very business minded, very much in the head. But this is my life, Jill. This is my movement, my mission, my life. It's my life's work. That's why I'm getting loud about it. Before, when I was a business coach and marketing coach, sometimes I would sit on my phone and be like, what content do I post? You know, what do I post? What do I talk about?
Mhm.
And it was all about the lead generation. But I knew inside I was really suffering. I was like, I'm not living on alignment. I don't know what I'm doing. So it all happens, I guess, for the best, the things
There's
that
always a
happen.
catalyst. There's something that sparks in us, and we come to a realization that, oh, I could be in control of my life, and I'm here for this reason.
Yeah.
It's why I do the podcast. This is
Mm,
not like a big money making thing for me, but
yeah.
it's my mission is to help others have a voice and to
Mm,
be visible and to stand up and tell people, hey, you're important too. You have a mission too.
yeah.
You and it is that we are all love and we are all one. And
Yeah.
the, the U World Order is all about each one of us has a gift and we're here
Mm,
to share it. And we should be valued and honored for the contribution that we're making to the world, but
mm,
not have to be everything to everybody. Like a trombone doesn't try to beat like the drum.
mm,
It has its own special melody,
mm.
and a drum is never going to be a guitar. But
Yes.
without them both together, the symphony's not the same.
Yes.
And
You're
that's
so right. That was so beautiful. Really, we are all the orchestra. We're part of it completely. And
Mhm,
you know what? The reason we get into self-doubt or, not feeling like we're good enough is the comparison because we look at social media, what's happening, and we get influenced by the influencers that they're doing so well. And look at me, what am I doing?
mhm.
I'm not even getting clients, right? I mean, where I'm posting the content, but no one's liking, no one's again. It's all become about the numbers. It's all become, again, it's the head, the mind that takes us away from our essence. But if we stay anchored in who we are, that we are love, in our power, then no one can shake us. That's how we become the peaceful warrior. We're so still on the inside, we know who we are, but now outside, we're not really affected by whatever's going on. We're just doing our thing. We're the warrior, we're making an impact on the outside. Unstoppable.
And it really is changing the world. You can feel
Yes.
it.
Oh, yes. This is it. I mean, this is it. If more and more leaders are leaders, actually, when they know this and when they can stay anchored, then, our influencers, for example, if they start spreading this message of love, rather than make so much money and like get so many likes and become viral, and that there's a place for that, like people need that, sure, but I feel like there has to be this essence that needs to be shared with, hey, this is who you are. Even if your views get viral or not, doesn't make a difference, doesn't make a dent in who you are. You're still this guy in the background. Yes. So people then don't get into self-doubt or lack or desperation or anxiety. I mean, the whole world is filled with anxiety. I know I was, so I cannot speak with everyone for everyone, but um, Yeah.
It's just trying to be enough.
Oh,
A,
yeah,
a
we
lot of
are.
people are just like wandering around. No matter how much goes right, they're always like, well, this didn't go right. Instead of like,
Oh,
but
yes.
all of these other things did go right. We just get
It's
caught in
because
that.
our brain is hardwired to for negativity. It's like a brain has a gravitational pull. It wants to fix things, right?
Mhm.
So our brain has a default towards the negative. It has a negativity bias. Tony Robbins is one of the famous coaches. He talks about this. Our brain has a negativity bias. So to live as conscious creators is to break out of that gravitational pull and not believe every single thought that comes into our awareness. The most important question we can ask is, who am I without that thought? Who am I without that emotion? Who am I without that perception? And now it's like you're returning back to who you are. It's emerging back into the awareness, the consciousness that we are, the creator that we are. We're not affected by the transitory nature of the clouds, like we mentioned before. So,
I know you have an app that helps
oh,
people with this. So let's talk about that for a second. And also we'll talk about the discovery session.
sure, sure. Yes, I have an app, and this app, I've really put my heart and soul into this because what it does, it is based on my framework of Awaken, Anchor, and then Amplify. But it also has very potent questions that takes the user into to an experience, to experience who they are. It makes it's specifically designed, and it's a question format. You know, the app has a lot of questions, so it takes you into a whole self-discovery process. Most of the apps, they're affirmation apps. You know, they'll tell us, okay, you know, we know, but this one is different. It makes you pause. Every single question is intended to make you pause and return back to who you are. Every single question. So it taps into your logical mind, it taps into your emotional heart, and it taps into beyond both of them. So that's what I've created. And yeah, it would be great if, you know, people can test it out, really. I mean, it can really bring people back home to who they are.
And it has a really long URL. So I'm going to make sure I put that in the
Yes,
show notes. I'm not even going to try to say it on
yes,
on this
oh, yes.
um on this episode, but can they find it by going to your website?
No, I haven't put that up because I've just finalized and published the app actually
Hmm.
before our show. I designed the whole app on a platform called famous.ai. So it's really like it's my own creation. I didn't hire anyone to
Hmm.
design this app, and I created the whole app by myself. That's why it has a long name because it's actually hosted in another platform. So you know, and they
Um,
really have to click on the link to be able to access this app. But it's mobile friendly. They can view it in their phone.
will you, in the next 3 months, do you think you will have it in the on your website, a link
Oh
on your
yes.
website for people to get there?
Yes,
Because
100%. So this is in progress. So my website, rashinayarwellness.com, will have this app as, you know, a free download where people can just go and download this app and just, you know, play around with it.
so by the time you're listening to this, my dear listeners, it will be available on the website. If you're listening, well, Rashi puts this up beforehand, then you definitely need to go to the app link that we will put in the show notes.
Yes.
I'll just read it out, but you definitely are going to want to go and click on the link. It's peace dash awareness dash powerful dot deploy pad dot app. That will get you there. Again, it will be in the show notes below. And Rashi promises
Thank
that she'll put it in her show notes too.
Yes, and also it's going in my on my website, which is rashinayarwellness.com. So you know
And there
definitely
you
go.
can, I'm sorry, there you can also get a one-on-one self-discovery session, which is
Yeah.
different than the normal discovery session in that
Mhm.
you're going to come out knowing who you actually are. That's what these sessions are designed for. So
Exactly. Exactly. You will know
definitely.
everything. You will know who you are beyond the identities, beyond the masks that you're wearing, beyond even your name, beyond the form. And you will meet yourself fully naked, face to face with yourself. Yeah, that's the beauty of this session. Yeah.
Then you can turn your camera off on Zoom. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining me
Of
today,
course.
Rashi. This has been a
Thank
great
you.
conversation.
Same. Thank you so much for having me, Jill. It was a pleasure.
So to learn more about Rashi and to actually get access to her app, the Peaceful Awareness app, um, and to also book your self-discovery session, please visit RashiNayarWellness.com, and we'll be sure to put all of these links in the show notes below. Thank you so much for tuning in with us today. If you have a podcast or you're interested in starting one, be sure to reach out to us at support@heartlifecoach.com. We love to help spiritual entrepreneurs and coaches amplify their voice and monetize their mission and offer a variety of ways to do this leveraging Substack. Join us for our next episode as we share what others are doing to raise the global frequency. And remember, change begins with you. You have all the power to change the world. Start today and get visible.